Hi guys, welcome to my video. So today we'll be talking about a topic under the English subject, which is the articles in English. Okay, so under the topic of articles, did you know that there are three articles under it, which is the a, an, and the. Articles are usually used before a noun, a counting noun, or a noun specifically. Articles are used before a noun and sometimes are equivalent as adjectives. So under the article, we have two different categories, which is the definite and indefinite articles. Under the definite articles, we have the. The article "the" is used to indicate when the subject is known to the reader. It is sometimes used when it is the speaker itself knows the subject, or sometimes it is used to a singular or plural nouns. For example, Christine went to the market. The article "the" is used to indicate when the subject is known to the reader. It is sometimes used when it is the speaker itself knows the subject, or sometimes it is used to a singular or plural nouns. For example, Christine went to the market. Next article, we have the indefinite, which is the a and an. It is sometimes used when the subject is not known or generally speaking. For example, Julius is a doctor. There wasn't mentioned any kind of doctor what Julius is, but it was mentioned that he is a doctor. It is generally speaking, but not specific. In using the indefinite article, which is the a and an, we have two different nouns that should be looked at for. First is the count nouns and uncount nouns, which is the count nouns that can be counted within your hands, or the uncount nouns which cannot be counted by our eyes. For example, there is an example for the count nouns, which is there is an apple on the table. It can be counted because it was mentioned that it was only a single apple on top of the table, which is, and then we have on the other hand, which is the uncount nouns. Can you put a sugar and then we have an example for non-count nouns. Can you put more sugar on a cup of coffee? Okay, so after knowing the indefinite and definite articles, we will now proceed to the rules. So rule number 1, we have used the article a or an to indicate any non-specified member of a group or category. We have here an example: that man is a villain. We are looking for an apartment. Next, we have used the article a or an to indicate one in a number. So here we have an example: I own a cat and 2 dogs. I own a cat and 2 dogs. Next, we have used the article a before a consonant sound and use an before a vowel sound. A boy, an apple. You should be aware that the rule of this should be You listen to the sound, not to the spelling or the letters. You have to listen carefully if this ending sound is a consonant or vowel to use a proper article for that sentence or statement. Next, we have sometimes an adjective comes between the article and noun. We had an example, an unhappy boy, a red apple, an unhappy boy, and a red apple. And last, we have the plural form of a or an is some. Use some to indicate an unspecified limit amount but more than one. An apple and some apples. An apple means one apple only. Some apples means there are several apples that can be counted or the number wasn't clearly given. Now let's proceed to the rule number 3. Use the article the when the particular noun has already been mentioned previously. I ate an apple yesterday. The apple was juicy and delicious. This is used to lessen the probability of repeating the same word in a sentence to make it more formal than it was. Next, we have use the article the when an adjective, phrase, or clauses describing the noun clarifies or restricts its identity. For example, the boy sitting next to me raised his hand. And then lastly, we use the article the when the noun refers to something or someone that is unique. The theory of relativity. The theory of relativity. And then now we have the last rule for the articles of English, which is use no article with plural count nouns or any non-count nouns used to mean all or in general. We have 3 examples. The first example is trees are beautiful in the fall. So it means all trees are beautiful in the fall. He was asking for advice. He was asking for advice in general. It wasn't specified what kind of advice he wants to get. And then last example, I do not like coffee. I do not like coffee in general. It means that the person or me as I subject doesn't want any coffee at all. Any kind of coffee is not bearable for me. So that is all for today's video. I hope you learned something today. I learn, you learn, we learn. Thank you. See you next video.